Hey everyone, this is John.
And this is Hector.
And it has all been building toward Inhumans versus X-Men, which is the event where the tension between the X-Men and the Inhumans come to a head. The conflict itself, as we discussed in Death of X, is a little bit artificial. Someone probably just wanted these two teams to fight to stir up some publicity for those Inhumans. And there are a lot of panels of fighting in this one. I don't think anyone really cares about the profile of the Inhumans.
No, we don't. The Inhumans are just, they've always been there, and it's just because Marvel Studios needs something to take X-Men's place in their cinematic universe.
Please watch the Inhumans TV show.
Exactly, yay! And that's what it is.
I mean, I probably will. I'll check it out at least.
Yeah, most likely me too.
But the best part of the story is the climactic transformation of Emma Frost.
And once again, like we've been alluding to since the Cyclops panel, the Cyclops show, she makes people dance.
Sure does.
And this is the ultimate way she has done it. Like, she is going in full force, knowing what she's done, and manipulates every single person.
Every single story beat that we're going to go over with this is planned perfectly by Emma Frost. Everyone does exactly what she expects them to do and reacts how she expects them to react. Mm-hmm. And it all comes to this culmination where it finally gets all revealed and some people are going to pay. Cause
they sure do.
Because the one remaining Terrigen Cloud is still roaming the planet. And the story begins with Emma Frost starting to put these plans into motion. We're going to get to that in a second. But Beast the Elder, the race trader, is with the Inhumans. And he is trying to find this mutually beneficial solution to the Terrigen Cloud. He does not find one, but instead he finds out that the planet is being poisoned and that they do not have much longer to live there. If they remain on the planet, it's going to be permanently altered to where it doesn't matter if the Terrigen Cloud is in contact with them or not. They are going to get sick and die.
Right.
So, meanwhile, you got Emma Frost building her army. And she hatches this tactically perfect plan to immobilize the Inhumans. And it all starts with recruiting Dazzler.
Yes. And you have no idea how excited I was to see this.
Well, how long has it been since we had seen her?
Well, she's been there because she was on A-Force.
Okay.
Which is actually kind of... No, it's a little weird because on A-Force, Medusa was her teammate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So now we're bringing in Dazzler, who is attacking her former teammate's husband. Okay.
Right.
Which is a whole other dynamic.
Sort of estranged.
Yeah,
right?
it is. And once again, I feel like it's one of those things that, the writer's just like, boom. But Dazzler does have some history with Black Bolt because this has happened before in the 80s during her own series. Because Dazzler had a series that ran for 42 issues. And I will bring that up as many times as I can so everybody understands, okay? It was fantastic. She had a love affair with Warren Worthington, and yeah, it was kind of cute. And then she just, great. Anyway, so, you bring in Dazzler. Because her power is what? She metabolisms sound into light. And what does she do? She makes him speak. Because, Black Bolt's voice, blah, blah. She goes ahead and she does it. And she metabolizes it back into light and takes him down.
Yep.
Weakens him. And then that gives Emma full-on diamond form, punching him out.
Yep. And there you go. You get Black Bolt immediately off the table at the very beginning of the run.
Because him and Karnak are the most powerful of all the Inhumans. Black Bolt, because he's such a figurehead, and like you said, his power can take everybody out. Because we believed that it took Cyclops out. As
does everyone still currently as the story goes on.
Exactly. Karnak, his power is that he can find the flaw in everything. He is a strategist. Like, he sees it, he knows what to do. And that is exactly why they end up taking him out in that one too. In that same issue, they take him out.
Yep.
So
And they ended up like trapping him psychically. Jean Grey the Younger is like has him in this sort of psychic prison. But then wait, no, it's not a psychic prison. It's Phantom X's.
It's the world.
Yeah,
it's the world, but still in a psychic prison at the same time because
Gotcha.
they're in the world and then they're in his head.
right.
So, and they did that on purpose because if he's there, Phantom X can still be that like cavalry that comes in. But we all know him. He's kind of shady. He does what's good for him. But yeah, it was Jean and the Stepford Cuckoos.
He's kind of a more snooty Gambit.
Yeah, who doesn't get punched around as much.
It's true, except when he's fighting Gambit in the X-Men Civil War II tie-in.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, neither here nor there. What then you have is you have Emma Frost going around and recruiting the other X-Men. She goes to Storm, she goes to Beast the Younger, and she's like gathering them all into this meeting. This council of mutants, so to speak. And there's this really...
It's a representative of each team.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
But there's this really great moment when she's talking with Beast the Younger, when Cyclops the Younger comes on. He's like, oh, hey, Emma. And she's faced with a younger version of her boyfriend who just died.
Yes.
So
I like that whole interaction with them because they go on and they're kind of like just talking, each and every one of them, like why we should do this, why shouldn't we do it, and that the fact that Rogue was the only one who was like, no, we shouldn't do this, because she's on that Unity team.
Yeah.
She works with Inhumans on a daily basis. So it's kind of like you see her loyalty to her team in the whole, and then you have Beast, who is kind of like, race trader. He's like, what do we be? Peace. And it's just like...
Right, we shouldn't fight even though we're going to have to leave the planet. And that's what this sort of Council of Mutants ends up being all about, is Beast needs to tell everyone, hey, if we don't leave the planet, we are not going to survive. This planet is becoming unlivable for us because of the Terrigen Cloud. And whereas his solution is, let's just leave, everyone else is like, well, no, this is our planet, too. We're just going to go ahead and take out that cloud.
Yes.
We're going to finish what Cyclops started, even though we all demonized him for it.
Yes.
So, everyone's on board. Except for Beast, apparently.
Well, we put him in a cage. He's fine.
Right.
I mean, he's kind of an animal.
Give him a hunk of meat and...
He'll be fine.
Yeah. So, then you just have this full-on assault of the Inhuman City.
Yes.
And it becomes apparent pretty quickly that when you have an assault of this scale, like of mutants versus Inhumans, like they were just totally unprepared for it. They cannot handle a full-on mutant assault. So it's an absolute rout. All of the major Inhumans are rounded up and imprisoned into limbo.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of younger Inhumans that escape.
Yeah, they're all part of that like uncanny Inhuman title. Like Inferno, and I think her name's Ito. I'm not really too familiar with them because I don't read their titles because I'm kind of anti-Inhuman just because of the way Just Mutants have been treated. As somebody who started reading X-Men when they were really young and grew up with the title, it kind of, you kind of get this bitterness towards Inhumans.
Like, you don't get to replace the mutants. You don't get to do that.
You have not been through what they have been through.
Right.
Like,
you go to your little city, you hang out, you have this ceremony where you breathe in some gas, and...
And maybe that city's gone.
Maybe it is.
And sips tea.
So the Inhumans they can't handle all of the mutants that attack them. So it seems like they have this perfect plan that gets that goes a little pear-shaped when these other younger Inhumans escape and find their way to that gate Inhuman guy who, I mean, to me, like, this whole gate is one of like the really disturbing things about
it's Lockjaw. It's the dog. Like, the dog has always been there. He's been there since the very beginning. Like, very beginning of Inhumans from the 60s with the Fantastic Four and everything. Because, remember, that's where the Inhumans came from.
Right.
Was Fantastic Four. So, he's always was there. Like, he was a big thing in the Ms. Marvel comic right now, the Kamala Khan. He's been, he's always been their mode of transportation.
Well, they take out Lockjaw pretty early.
Yeah, because teleporter.
Right.
I mean, they did, because if you remember, Bastion did that in Second Coming. Well, who's the first ones you have to take out? Your teleporters. Because you want them all there at the same time.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the dude who was transformed into this living gate, who basically just teleports you to where you need to go. You don't know where you're going to end up.
Oh,
and to me,
yes, I know who you're talking about.
And to me, like, this is one of like the really grotesque things about Inhuman transformation is you don't know what you're going to become. Like, who would sign up to be transformed to go through a Terrigenesis process when they might become an inanimate object?
Well, I mean, you look at it too. Your mutant power, you don't decide that.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, with the Inhumans, with the Inhumans just in general, not every Inhuman got powers because they had a choice whether they wanted to go through the process or if they didn't.
Right.
Mutants didn't have a choice. So you would have somebody who would be somebody powerful, like a Storm, a Rogue, somebody like that, a Cyclops, even like a Gambit. But then you also get the ones that are like Maggot.
Yeah.
Jubilee.
Leech. Yeah.
Or Jubilee.
Fucking Jubilee.
Fucking Jubilee.
But yeah, I mean, that's to take this sidebar. That was one of the interesting things to me about the movie Logan, is they alluded to that they suppressed the X gene by having like some sort of food additive.
Yes.
So, and if the X gene were a thing in reality, and I was able to know if one of my kids had the X gene and they might go through some sort of transformation when they reach puberty, I don't know what I would do, because they could become Storm or Dazzler, or they could become that really grotesque monster from, like, they could become Beak.
Nobody likes Beak.
And what sort of chance do you have at a normal life when you are Beak? When you're Rogue, you got a shot.
You've got a long shot, though.
Yeah.
Get it? Other X-Men?
I see what you did.
See what I did there?
Yep.
But I mean, Rogue, her entire life, up until, Messiah Complex, and now it's uncontrollable again, but she couldn't control it. She had to be careful, but she knew what she had to do.
Yeah.
But but she was able to pass.
Yeah. She didn't have to live in a sewer.
Yes, she's not a Morlock.
Right.
Or like Beast, but that was his own fault.
Yeah.
He did those chemicals and everything, boom.
Brought it upon himself.
But even besides that, look at someone like Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
He was born that way. Like, he looked that way. When he was born, his teleportation powers didn't come in until puberty, until it hit. So it's one of those things where Inhumans got the choice, where mutants didn't.
Yeah.
And now with the mists and the clouds going all around, it's one of those things. Like, is that like do you have that choice anymore? You could always leave before it goes.
Yeah.
But how do you know if it's you or not?
But yeah, is it ethical to sort of force that decision upon someone, like, well, I could leave town for a bit, or I could stick around to see what happens?
Exactly.
But, and anyway, things go a little bit sideways when those younger Inhumans escape, or so it seems, because they get to the gate that takes them to Forge and Old Man Logan, who are building the device to neutralize the second Terrigen Mist cloud.
Right.
And they subdue Old Man Logan, which they wouldn't stood a chance against Wolverine.
Yeah.
But because it's Old Man Logan, he's an old man.
Yeah.
So he gets a little bit of leeway there. And then, you start to see the Inhumans make a resurgence. They escape from Limbo. They find the Institute in Limbo. They find Black Bolt there. They fight past Colossus to make their escape. And they all end up back on Earth. But while all that's going on, you have the younger Inhumans and the younger X-Men sort of meet up. And they have this discussion. It's kind of a plot device where they say, like, hey, why is any of this happening? Like, why is this this huge conflict.
The younger generation, they're trying to figure out what the older generations are doing.
Well, it still again points out sort of artificial nature of this conflict in general. Like, this is just something to pit these two teams against each other and to see them fight. But what they find out that, hey, the Terrigen Cloud is poisoning the Earth and mutants won't be able to live here anymore. And the younger Inhumans are like, that's messed up. We shouldn't have it then.
Right.
And the young mutants are like, you're right. We shouldn't have it anymore. So they work together with Forge to build this device to neutralize it finally.
Right.
And you end up with this culmination to where all the groups, the younger Inhumans and mutants and the older Inhumans and mutants meet in one place to neutralize the cloud. And now that everyone's in one place.
Yes. Everybody.
The entire plan is finally revealed. Because you think it's about one thing. You think it's about this conflict between mutants and Inhumans.
It is so great.
Because it's all a ruse.
You killed my boyfriend. Y'all are gonna pay.
Yep. And it's this fantastic reveal because you get that everything has been orchestrated, from capturing Inhumans to how they escape, to the younger Inhumans finding the device that Forge was initially building to neutralize the Terrigen Cloud. Like, everything has just been the machinations of Emma Frost.
Yep.
Who is just trying to get all of the Inhumans together so that she can use Sentinels to destroy them all.
Sentinels.
Fucking Sentinels.
Fucking Sentinels. I mean,
the thing that destroyed Genosha while she was on Genosha.
And she uses it against them.
Yep.
And the fact that she, made Forge do it, that was even greater about that.
Oh, yeah, she manipulated everybody.
There is a panel in the last issue, and every time we talk about this, I always bring it up, where she's looking up as New Attila is going down. She has this look on her face that she's so happy.
Oh, yeah.
Her entire plan had just worked.
She is gleeful.
Exactly. And it's one of those things like, you are a terrible, 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 terrible person.
Oh, yeah.
But for some way, I respect you.
She's reveling in genocide.
I mean, she's bathing in it and just yes, genocide.
Yep.
And the thing about it is she doesn't care.
Nope.
She doesn't. Because you killed her boyfriend.
You were mean to her boyfriend.
And that's what she's gonna do.
Yep.
I mean, if I had anybody who was mean to me because of that, I'd be upset.
Well, and you also get a lot of the other reveals where everyone else finally finds out that the events around Death of X, Cyclops had been dead for longer than they were aware.
Yes.
So, and that people were being manipulated from even those events as far back as Death of X. She was manipulating people into doing what she wanted them to do. But Sentinels, man, just the day after you loaned me these issues to go through them, I gave them back to you and I was like, Sentinels?
Sure really? Did.
Sentinels?
And it was so good. It was so great. It was just she became everything that should have been against the mutant race.
The things that had hunted mutants from the early 60s. This was the nemesis. This was humanity's primary weapon to exterminate mutants. And she's like, yes, I'll take some of those, please. Set the dial to Inhuman.
Yeah, and she did. Yep. And then when all the other X-Men and all the other mutants were like, what's going? Oh shit! They were they got on level 10 when they saw Sentinels. They were like, shit, and then they were like, wait, they're not coming after us.
How confusing would that have been?
It was just been wait, what? Fight? Oh wait, no, wait, huh? What?
Do we fight? They're killing them. Do we care? I mean, what if they start coming after us? Do we hold back? No, it is so over the line for her to use those that you just have to respect it as a storytelling device.
Yeah.
It's so good to just see how far she has gone.
She went full circle. Mm-hmm. She started out as a villain, and then went 180 and been a hero, because she was a hero regardless of her intentions of what was going on. She was a hero. She was fighting for the greater
comments.
Yeah, she was fighting for the greater good of mutants, But then you can't hate her because at the same time, everything was about mutant kind. Everything. She didn't care about what happened to everybody else. So does that really make her a hero? I might have stopped some major events from happening and saving the world, but that's because mutants. And that's where you get into this gray area with her, because now mutants are actually being threatened again, to the point that we have to destroy this device, or this cloud, which is going to affect an entire race of people. But do I care? But you killed my boyfriend. So...
But see, the thing is, destroying that Terrigen cloud, I don't think factored into her plan at all. Like, if that device hadn't have worked to destroy the second Terrigen cloud, you're like, whatever, Sentinels anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
at that point, it was just get everyone in one room.
Yeah, and she did.
Yep.
And she did.
So, you know, she, through these machinations of hers, yes, destroyed the second Terrigen cloud, saved the planet to make it still habitable for humans, in effect, saved the mutant race. Sorry, not humans, mutants. Saved the mutant race. But that wasn't her goal. She wasn't trying to save mutants. She was trying to kill all Inhumans.
Well, they killed her boyfriend.
They sure did. They killed him good. Indirectly and good.
I mean, she was like, oh, hell no.
And see, the really beautiful thing about this entire plot is it started hatching the second she walked out of that room with psychic projection of Scott.
Exactly. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. She's like... It's done.
The goal is kill everyone responsible for this. And we're going to start right here.
And they did. She manipulated some really predominant people. She manipulated Storm. Magneto. Like, people who have never been like that before. And she was able to do it.
Yep.
This character is just... I don't know. Like I said, one of my favorites just because of it all. Just because of... her whole arc, everything about it is just so much fun about her, because she is like a psychologist's dream. Like, you just kind of like want to pick at her brain. She won't let you because she's probably going to beat you down,
right,
in diamond form. But there's just so much happening with her, and it's kind of like, and I dare to say this because, you know, different companies, but she's almost like, I don't know. I was gonna say she's almost like a Harley Quinn, in where the irrationality is kind of the common for them, but she's not. Everything is rational in her brain, which you could say about Harley too. But her way of thinking is always like, she never did revenge. She's never been about revenge. You killed her boyfriend. She's killing everybody.
Right.
And that's where I think it's kind of fun with her at this point. I really am interested to see where they're going to go.
Oh yeah, I'm fascinated to where they're going to go with this character. Because, you know, like, Medusa does give her a little bit of comeuppance. Like, Medusa, like, cracks a little bit off of her with, like, her super strong hair. But Emma gets away. And you see her with her Magneto Cyclops hybrid helmet, just being full villain in front of the fire. So I would really love to see this character just follow the Inhumans to space and hunt them down and be like this constant antagonist for Inhumans.
And that would be fantastic, but we know she's not. So it's kind of like they have an opportunity, like, to do that. Like, she could be constantly after them to the point where it gets like she is their Magneto. Yeah. Like, she is their Red Skull. Because the Inhumans really don't have their own kind of villain. And now
They should. It should be the person who tried to kill them all.
Exactly.
How's it feel?
Yeah.
How's it feel to have somebody after you?
Exactly. And I want, like, that would be so much fun to see. Is that if she just goes full assault on them.
Yeah.
Every single storyline. Like, you know, kind of like the Magneto. She's good. They beat her down a little bit. She goes, looks her wound. She comes back maybe a year later. Like, that would be great.
Yep.
She did a 360. In actuality,
it's so satisfying to see a character have that sort of transition to where they're right back to where they started, but it took 30 years.
It did. I mean, it took 30 plus years,
which is great. It's great to see that they're still doing that with all these characters that they have.
They do, and I mean, there's some that I wish we would have more of. Like always, X-Men Gold. I'm really excited for, just because that team is the team I grew up with. You know, like. I mean, and
Storm and Colossus and
Kitty and Nightcrawler, Rachel Gray, you know, like, who's going by Prestige, but she'll always be Rachel Gray, who has the worst costumes in history, except for her Marvel Girl costume during, like, 2006-ish. The green and, like, the updated look of Jean's Marvel Girl costume. Other than that, she was always in a rat tail.
No, there's no excuse for that.
There is no excuse for a rat tail.
And someone needs to apologize.
I would like the artists to come over, just to comment and apologize for the rat tail.
I think we're owed an apology.
Yes. I have something that I give out to people called the Rachel Gray Award. And it's called that because if I see you with something ugly, I have a business card that I give you. It says, "Congratulations, you won the Rachel Gray Award." And that means you dressed hideously. It's ridiculous. I'm like, no. But Rachel, like, I'm really excited just because of that team. It's classic X-Men. Classic X-Men. Granted, they've had a little controversy right now because of the Quran quote thing that was on the shirt. Yeah,
I saw something about that.
Yeah, but I mean,
I didn't care.
I understand why people are upset about it, and it goes against everything the X-Men stands for. It does, but it's just. This team in this book, I think, is going to be great. If they're promising what they are saying they're going to do with it, which is go back to the basics, then yes.
Yeah.
Like, let's go back to the basics. Let's try to prove that mutants are going to have to help with whatever is going on, you know? I'm excited for Blue.
Maybe go to space.
Yes, let's go back to space. And especially Emma.
Yep.
And but it's going to be fun. I mean, the first issue, which is the only one that I've read so far, you have the ending, which you have a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah.
Or they even call themselves Evil Mutants, which is fun.
That is funny.
We have a new Avalanche. We have a new Pyro. Magma's on the team, which is really weird because Magma is, good guy. Also a new mutant. You have not gotten there. But so fantastic. It's just like you kind of get this like happiness with it.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be nice to see, and I think that's what Inhumans versus X-Men is sort of ushering in. Like, hey, now things are going to start to get better.
Well, and with Resurrection was so great for the fact that it pulled the nostalgia strings. It really did. For those who have read the books for 20 plus years. 20 years from now would be, yeah, we're good. And you get that sense of feeling of what the X-Men comic should be and what it was. One day I wish the Avenger comics would feel that way, but they're not anytime soon.
That's a topic for a different time.
Yeah, but it's heartwarming, I guess. Like, it's Kitty walking through the mansion and kind of reliving what she relived during Astonishing X-Men number 1. But then she goes into her old room and she notices that it's different. Somebody else is in there. And she's looking around and she's like, oh, it's his room. And who walks up behind him? Colossus. And you're just like, and it just gets so good. And you're just like, it pulls at them. And it really does. And that's why I have high hopes for this. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the new stuff that they're going to be doing. I really like the young the time displaced X-Men.
You've been reading all new for a while.
Yeah, that dynamic I think is so good. With all of the young ones seeing what the future is like and having to deal with it all. I'm excited for the new run of Astonishing. I think that's going to be really cool.
That's going to be a fun team. That is going to be a real fun team.
It's like all the extreme ones back together.
And the other part about that is that there's no Dazzler anywhere. Again.
Well, she'll show up somewhere. She got
Yeah, I mean, no, they don't.
No?
She hasn't been in... Okay, last X title she was in was Uncanny X-Men, where the Brian Michael Bendis...
Oh, is that the one where she's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. to try to track down...
And then she gets kidnapped.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far.
Okay. Yeah, when you get...
Everyone always gets kidnapped. It's fine.
She gets kidnapped by Mystique, and Mystique impersonates her.
I know.
Yeah. One thing that was great about this run, though, is they have her ear, like, as she's kidnapped, laying in a bed, in a medical bed, keeping her medically sedated. They have her eyes covered and they have her ears plugged. And Mystique, and I think it was Blob, who is like, why is this going on? And Mystique is like, because we don't know what her actual power set is. Which is fantastic, which is so great, makes me happy every time they do that. During A-Force, oh my god, I'm going into a huge tangent about Dazzler right now. During A-Force, they even give us her immortality back, which happened with Chris Claremont's new Excalibur, where Dazzler died and she came back and nobody understands why. And she died again. And the series was canceled before they were able to explain it. And they used that back in A-Force.
Did they explain it then?
No.
They're just like, don't worry about it. Just what she does.
That's what she does.
Nice.
Done.
That's awesome.
But you're like, yes, this is so great. And it's just, I personally believe it's just because light is an energy form, and as long as she could hear, she's never going to die. Put her in a soundproof room.
I think the bottom line is it's a bright, exciting future for mutants. For the first time in quite some time.
It is. We got a lot of good stuff. I mean, X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue. We have some I'm really excited for the Iceman series. I'm really excited for the Astonishing series, like we touched upon earlier. I mean, we're getting Gambit and Rogue back on a team together, which, excites the little fangirls about that, because let's be real, it's the fangirls who love that whole dynamic.
They just like to see him get beat up.
I mean, that's what they do, because that's what he does. He just gets beat up.
Yep.
It's all of that. Like, Weapon X, I'm really excited for just because Greg Land is the artist. I'm not going to lie on that one. He's one of my favorite artists. I think his art is fun. It's semi-realistic, but not really. There's a perfection about it that I really like. The Cable one, yes, just because it's Cable. Yeah. I have to read it. Like, I'm going to read every single one of these issues. Like, I'm going to do it. And then people are going to be like, oh my god, you're wasting so much money. I'm like, going to be shut up. I'm reading it.
But I don't know where... we probably won't do another X-Men for the next run of shows. I don't know where we're going to go next. We'll figure it out. There's a couple storylines that are really cool. Like, we can always do some old school Avengers stuff. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be Marvel.
I mean, if you really want, we can do some really fun DC stuff.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many great things. I mean, the Green Lantern universe, just in general, we can do things like Blackest Night, just rehash that. We can do things like Identity Crisis, which is one of my favorite stories of all time, where somebody's targeting the loved ones of publicly known superheroes, and you kind of get this like murder mystery thing, because it starts with the elongated man's wife getting killed and trying to figure out what happened and who's doing it. And it hurts. There's a lot of stuff that hurts in that one, especially if you've been a DC fan for a while. I mean, we can even do one, like, because DC's doing this huge thing with the Watchmen, we can do a huge Watchmen thing. That one would probably be a couple hours, just like the movie.
Yes, to all of those.
Oh, God. Zack Snyder, stop making movies. Shit. Sorry. Edit. But, I mean...
He might not have a choice in the matter.
Oh. I mean... I would really love to know your opinion of New Mutants just in general. Because New Mutants is my favorite series run of all time. And I'm talking about the 80s run. Yeah. Like the one that you're reading right now. Mm. I own pretty much every single issue. To the point that I had to pay $500 for the issue number 98.
Goddamn.
Well, it's the first appearance of Deadpool.
Okay.
So, who is nothing like he is in the comics now. But still... Like, we could always do something like that.
So he's, like, attractive and a bit slow?
No, he's so not attractive. No, he was more based on Deathstroke from the DC universe. Like even to the point the costumes are pretty much extremely similar. So
nice.
We could always rehash that. Like in reading the things that are coming up and just seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, I think that's going to bring this one to a close.
Yes.
So till next time, everybody.
Yeah. See you later.